Welcome everyone. I'm so excited to be here with Miss Susanna Mittermaier because Susanna, you are launching a book today called Curing the Gilded Cage. Oh my goodness, welcome. Thank you for inviting me to be the honor of kicking this off with you.
Oh, thank you so much for saying yes and doing this with me. Really, really happy.
Yeah, I got to have a sneak peek, I'm just going to say. So I was reading the book. I'm here at a lugar in Costa Rica, and I was reading the book on my flight here, and the title itself, Curing the Gilded Cage. Like, what is a gilded cage? I think I want to ask that. What is a gilded cage?
Yeah. So I want to say, like, this is so magical because the book arrived today. So I'm going to show
It
you
did.
how
Oh,
actually,
yay.
yeah.
Oh,
So cool. So this is how it looks. And yeah, so what is that gilded cage? So it's like where a lot of people, when they go for creating their lives, they most of the times go for, okay, so what should my life look like? Like they have this yearning for the good life, the perfect life, like finally getting it right in a way and arriving somewhere. And for most people, it's like chasing an ideal. And that is where people are following an ideal rather than creating their lives. And the book was, first of all, it was inspired by Gary Douglas' idea. He's like, hey, Susanna, how about creating a book, writing a book with the title Curing the Gilded Cage? And we had a very short conversation. I love his style, like very short conversation,
yeah.
delivering the energy and like, okay, got it, on writing the book. And what the journey of writing this book brought up was basically what's up in the world right now for so many people. This I have to get it right. Like I have to have a life that looks a certain way. And in this world, it's like with social media and everything that we're bombarded with on a daily basis, there's this certain way that, like, a lot of examples out there of how that good life, perfect life should look like. And it's like the perfect body and the perfect training program. I mean, it's like the things you see on a daily basis, the perfect mindset, relationships,
Yeah.
how many Ks of dollars are a sign of success, or how many participants you should supposed to have in a seminar so you are successful.
The car
And
to drive, the house, the handbags, all the things.
it's like also almost a recipe that you
Yeah.
get, that you see every day, like, oh my god, I don't have that yet. Maybe, like you say, maybe I should have that. I forgot the handbag. Oh my god, totally missed
If
something.
I just had that handbag, I would be happy and I would have the perfect life.
That, right, that. And it's so, and we all know it's like it doesn't work, but maybe I missed something. Like
Yeah.
maybe this will, maybe if I will tick this box, maybe that will give me what I always was looking for. And
Yeah.
it's like, how many of you out there have tried to fulfill any of those things or tick any of those boxes? And if you ask yourself, so how is that for me? Like, what is this actually doing for me? And does this create more of me or less of me? And what a lot of people then start to realize, it's like what looks like gold, like talking about the gilded cage, what looks like gold might not be gold for you.
I love that.
Yeah.
And just like, the picture on the book is beautiful. If you're going for that, if you're going to tick the boxes off, I know I did that. I was like, I need to get a job, I need to have a boyfriend, I need to convince him to marry me, and then I need to have a kid, and then I need to have the perfect family, and then everything will be perfect. But then it's like, how I know for me personally, from creating it from that space, I started to feel like I couldn't breathe. I felt caged in, not because of all of those things, but because of how I chose it and the space and energy that I chose it from. So I think it's so awesome that you wrote this book. It is a book full. It's not just a book that you read and it's, you know, a casual thing. It's a book that's going to change your entire life. And there's tools in there, there's processes, like ways to like work through things, so that part of the title is to cure that. To cure, it doesn't mean you have to get rid of all this amazing boxes that you've checked. But I get with reading this, you also get the tools to actually begin to enjoy it and receive it, and not have to feel trapped in a pretty gold cage. So,
Wow.
is, what
That.
is what is one of your there's a chapter that I read and it was on rightness, which is the ultimate cage, as you called it. So I would love to have just a little discussion with you about that, and how, you know, if you're listening to this and you're like, well, what is right and what is, you know, isn't there good and bad in the world? And can you talk a little bit about where even looking for that and going for that, how that traps you and how to start shifting it?
Yeah. So the rightness and on the other side, the wrongness, like that's the parameters, the things, judgments that we are handed to from everywhere, from our cultures, from our parents, from our families. It's like that is what people use to navigate everything and decide, like, is this a good choice? Is it a bad choice? Should I do it? Is it right? Is it wrong? And that is oftentimes, it's not about is it right for me, but is it right for others? Is it
Yeah,
right for the structures that I have around me? Right for the for the standards that other people have, or the projections that I have from my parents or someone around me. So that seldom has anything to do with us. Like when we go for right and wrong, it's always about making something outside of us more relevant and real than what is true for us. And that is really the ultimate cage, because you only have two choices. You only have the right choice or the wrong choice in life, but never the choice that's good for you. And so most of us have not grown up with being asked, hey, what is true for you? What would you desire as your life and your future? Has been handed this, okay, here's your box, like here's your cage. Now decorate it. You can make it fluffy, and you can, add colors to it, but that's within that cage, and live with it, be happy with it, be satisfied with it, but never really go beyond it. Because most of us have, like, how many of you have tried to go a little bit beyond what has been handed to you, and how wrong have you been made? Like, oh, you're not grateful, you are never satisfied, why do you always ask for more? But then realizing that is actually the gift, that you asking for something different, you asking for more than what has been handed to you, that is an inspiration. And so getting beyond that is really the, okay, what is true for me, you know and
yeah,
so many people are judging themselves and stressed because they, like we said before, they think they haven't made it. And when you ask them, okay, what do you mean, like, you haven't made it? And they say, well, I don't have this and this. I don't have the followers. I don't have the money. I don't have what I should have, like according to the judgments of what's right or wrong, someone else's point of view. And so it's like, the question is never, okay, what would I like to have?
yeah,
If I would create my life the way it works for me, what would be true for me? What is good for me? And what makes me happy? And it's like the courage to create and go for what makes you happy,
yeah,
no matter if it matches anyone else's standards. And that's like one of the freedoms that we really could grant ourselves and allow. And I feel like it's like more on the buffet now than ever before. Like
yeah.
that freedom that we can allow ourselves.
And I love the cover of the book picture. You know, it's a cage and the door is open, and it's like, what if the door is open for you to fly? You know, it's like,
Mm.
Kristen put in the comments like the life outside of that box is is scary out there, and what if it's not? And I think the really cool thing about the book and most of what I've read in it is it's so empowering. And one of the places that you're really tapping into is also your work with pragmatic psychology. So there's so much stuff in there that whether you've been gaslit, the terrible word, gaslighting, or like where you've just like really like psyched yourself out of thinking that there's things that you can't have, whether it's money or a great relationship, or that you actually deserve to be cared and nurtured for. This book and the tools in it really walk you through unlocking that. And I love that the title says curing, because it's like you actually have the tools to cure yourself, and this book is there to support you with that. So how, like, you've written some books before on pragmatic psychology. What was your exploration with this book and weaving some of maybe the new tools that you've gotten along the way? Because access consciousness is always changing. Susanna is always changing and getting greater. She's soaring outside of her cage and finding new stuff. So what was it like to create this book with all the new things that you've found in your soaring adventure of life?
It's writing a book is always a journey, and it's not always the most comfortable one, because when you write a book, it writes with you. It's how can I put it in words? It's you write it and you explore all those spaces for you and your life, and while you write it, it also brings up the places, like you brought up the places where I'm doing Gilded Cage and not even noticing it.
Right.
And that's what I love about writing books, because it's not just like I'm writing something, and giving advice to other people. For me, writing books is I receive from that book myself, and it can show me what else I can step into. So while I write, I also take those steps. I also make those choices to go, in this case, beyond the gilded cage. And those journeys, like leaving those comfortable places, like a cage, something you've decorated and it's cozy and everything, and it's not always the most comfortable choice. And it, I know it. It's sometimes like, but that the freak out is not more relevant than the freedom beyond it. So you might be like, it might be super intense that, oh my God, what is it all bringing up? But it's worth it. If you don't allow it to impress you and you keep on going, it pays off. And there's a freedom beyond it that is undefined, that is new, and you have no navigation system for it. You just know, yes, I'm going there. And this is really an invitation for all of us to say yes to something creates greater for you and the world, even if you don't know how it looks like, and you don't have a GPS for it yet, and you don't have the ideas exactly how it will look like. You just know, you have a sense of, I'd like to have a bigger life. I'd like to have a life that when I wake up in the morning, it's, yeah, like, yes, alive. And of course, there might be moments when it's like, ugh, but most of the times it's yay. And what if we don't have to know how it looks like? You don't have to define it. You just go, yes, I'm just saying yes to it. And that is an exploration of going beyond it. And because you mentioned the word curing, and curing is not about fixing anything. And because in this reality, oftentimes curing is about, here's a problem that you need to overcome and you need to fix it. But the fixing is already validating that there is something to fix. It's already like fixing is the point of view for many. Okay, there is a problem to fix. So it validates the fact that there is a problem. But in this case, it's not about curing from fixing, but curing from choosing, from the clarity, from the ask you have of, hey, what else is there for me that I haven't explored yet? And then the choice to go there, no matter what other people think, no matter whether you know what it looks like, you just go, yes, and on to that glorious life that can be yours.
That's so beautiful. Especially because I think that a lot of people are in a perpetual state of trying to find out what's wrong with them to fix it.
Yeah.
Oh, so this book is not that. If you are ready to retire your adventure of fixing yourself, this book is inviting you to something beyond that. So, what
Yeah.
would you say? Like, did you have anyone that you wrote this book for? If people are wondering if this book is like for them, or what's your sense of who
This
might be your beloved reader?
this book is truly for everyone, and it's also for the people who are courageous enough to not need to get it right anymore, and to acknowledge that you have that courage, that you, like, if you listen to this and you haven't turned this conversation off, this might be an acknowledgement that you're one of those, wonderful seekers that loves exploration, that has the vulnerability, truly the vulnerability to
Yes.
not get it right, and the joy of exploring what else is possible for you. And I'd love to invite people to, like, let go of that stress of, oh my God, my life has to look a certain way and only then it's good. And this constant comparison with other people and their cages and their rightnesses about how, like, what is their standards, and going, okay, bye bye, all of this. I'm on to the exploration of what makes me happy and what's true for me. And I'm going to choose that and go for that no matter what. And that amazing inspiration you become by choosing what's true for you and living what's true for you, no matter how it looks like.
And I get the sense that, sometimes, as you said, that can be a very uncomfortable adventure, or it can be super undefined. Like if you're like, I have no idea what would make me happy, but um, the book it's got a lot of really cool, like, practical tools and exercises to walk you through that. And also, it's not like a one time, read it once, do the exercises, you're done. It's like a thing that you can have with you along the way. Because you might, when you start to fly, you're like, yeah, I'm a bird, I'm amazing. And then you realize that you've just flown into another cage or something like that. So, um,
That is so well put. Exactly that. And then having the joy of that, having the joy of, oh, look, I just flew into a wall. Oh my
yeah.
God, that was fun. Okay, next. What's next? Like receiving everything as a contribution to you, even the moments where it feels shitty or horrible. And like I always say, I know this is maybe something you shouldn't say on social media, but it's like, truly every shit is a fertilizer for something greater. Just like in agriculture, it's like the same in a whole life. It's like, if you sprinkle some shit and you have some shit coming up, it's always like fertilizing to something that can, grow from that. Always. It's like, if you don't judge it, it can be such a resource and a contribution to just go on and go greater.
There's so many poop analogies, because it's like you're in a cage, you're just like pooping in your own cage, and then everything starts to smell. It's like you could go anywhere, or you could be a soaring bird and you're just pooping on other people's heads and don't have to worry about it. So I love
I love where you take it.
it. I'm a very professional book interviewer. Okay. I don't do well in a cage. It's like
That's what I love about you.
and I'm trying to get out. But it is, I know that, like you said at the beginning, like sometimes you don't even know that you've created a cage for yourself. And I'm here at Elugar and I've been riding horses, as you ride horses. And my horse, actually, I asked for something the night before, like, what would it take to, like, for you to show me what I'm truly capable of? Which I thought, of course, would be on that horse, on my perfect horse that I love so much. And he got injured, and I have had to ride other horses, which is so uncomfortable and making me stretch. And as we're talking, I'm like, I had put myself in a nice, pretty little cage. This was my zone. This was my happy place. This is my happy place where I felt really comfortable. And getting on another horse or another adventure like that I I don't know how to ride, or I don't like, all my insecurities came up, and it's really uncomfortable, but it's so freeing to just know, like, I think the greatest thing that I've gotten from it so far, because I'm not totally there yet, is that at least I have the courage to choose something different. And I get like this, the courage to actually explore, like, it's, I think if you're listening, like if you're still listening after all the poop comments, um, the courage that we have to even leave, cure, fly, beyond the cages that everyone else has, is, if we could just acknowledge that, that's what I'm acknowledging today, at least, is
This
the,
is so beautiful and such a great, clear example
yeah,
with your horse and the kindness of your horse, like gifting you what you've been asking for, not in a way you expected, but something that invited you to grow. And then you chose to accept that invitation.
yeah,
That is so grand, truly. And I love that example of, where we create something that we're proud of and we really like, oh, I so know the horse part, oh, I made it, like something that
yeah,
seemed impossible. And now it's here and I'm living it. And then we want to stay in there. Like, I'm going to keep it.
yes,
I'm finally happy. I'm going to, my precious.
yes,
I'm going to hold on to it and nobody will take it away. But then we don't realize, as you say, oh, yet another cage,
yeah.
rather than asking, okay, what's beyond it? If I can have that, what else? Like always asking for greater.
Yes. So, where can people find the book?
Oh, thank you. It magically appeared.
Hey.
So there's a landing page for the book. It's pragmaticpsychology.com/gilded cage. And on that page, you find all the different links on whatever it's called, different places where you can
Amazon,
buy the
all
book
the places yeah, all the stuff.
and the ebook thing and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. However you like to read books, whether it's listen, read, have, all the things, skim. And I know everyone's going to ask, so I'm going to ask it first. Are you planning on having translation into other languages?
Exactly that. Yes.
Yes.
So right now we have German and more is coming.
Yay! So cool. Well, congratulations. I hope you are celebrating. And if you're listening and watching, go get the book, share the book with your friends. If you have people in your life, they're like, just get out of your cage, just gift them the book and see if they ever read it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a
Just have
beautiful,
it in their cupboard.
it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Congratulations. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for allowing me to celebrate it with you.
Oh, so
And
my
for,
pleasure.
I read it on the plane coming here. I'm sure it also contributed to, like, hey, excuse me, you're in a gilded cage. So I've had an adventure in the last 5 days. So thank you to your book and its inspiration that it was for me.
Oh, thank you so much for all of that and receiving, and thank you for that amazingly fun conversation. So good.
Yeah. What else is possible?
Truly, truly.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.